I'm Adam Chor, I'm in 12th grade and I am 19.
My name is Aisha Fasasi, I'm 15 years old and I'm a sophomore at Mastery Thomas.
My name is Virginie Dorville, I'm 17 years old and I am in 11th grade.
Hi, my name is An, I'm in 10th grade and I just turned 16.
My name is Brianna Monk, I'm 17 years old and I'm in 11th grade.
As of right now, students around the country are rallying with Parkland because we know that the gun laws need to change and we are willing to do what it takes to change them.
I think the walkouts were really good protesting, because that shows, even though many schools didn't allow their kids to do the walkout, I still feel with kids who took the initiative to do it themselves, even if they did get in trouble with it, they are powerful children.
Miss Daly, our principal, brought up having a walkout in the first place, and I just thought that I would want to help out and do that, just because I feel like walkouts nationwide are such like a student thing. They're like, they were started because of students and students' passions. So I felt like this just needed to, if it was going to be something real and something that was really happening, it just needed student voices, student action, and not just adult action.
The high school walkouts around the country, they were very inspiring. Although I did not take part in them in my own reasons, I do believe that they were important for this country and for students everywhere, because as a generation, I believe that our generation kind of believes that change will never happen just because of all the countless times that we've seen these mass shootings and how society is kind of growing numb to it. But these walkouts are proof that we are not going down without a fight and that we really do want change.
I think that every kid who's out there who wants to be a part of something now has representation, because kids their age are doing the same thing, and they could feel like they have power in a way, because kids are taking power even when it's not given to them, but they should get it. And so I feel like it represents kids in a certain way.
It's empowering, I guess. It just feels like a movement, you know, people can start saying what they feel like without other people telling them that they're not allowed to say it.
Most of the politicians out there, they think that we're not old enough to know what we need to do, when in fact it is our future that's at risk, that's in the hands of these politicians that are making these laws. And so therefore, when we turn 18, we have the right to vote. We have the right to vote them out of office. We have the right to do what most citizens have the right to do, which is to speak our ideas freely and to voice our concerns to our government. Because in the end, the government is what's supposed to be serving us, and we are included in us. Once we're 18, we're allowed to vote.
Do whatever you can. Like, if it's just like doing things on Twitter, speaking up on Instagram, whatever, just like let your voice be heard. And as soon as you can register to vote, like do it. Like, there is so much power in democracy. And if you use that power, we can definitely make a change.
The resources is at the tip of our fingers with Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and all of that. Now we have the chance to take our power and make our voices heard, and we're taking it.
So far, we've made a really big difference in America. We're young, but like there are so many of us doing so many different things, making walkouts, making posters, talking to different representatives.
For all the people under 18, for all the people who are too young to vote, they can still be heard. All these rallies around the high schools, all these walkouts, that's a perfect way for your voice to be heard. Not only that, you can also rally around your state elective. You can still call them. You can still voice your concerns with them. And even though you may not be able to vote yet, you can remind them that during their next few years, next 2 years or 4 years, that you will be able to vote and that they better start catering to what you want.
Like this one guy said, I totally forget who he is, but he's great. If we're old enough to get shot, we're old enough to have an opinion about getting shot. Just because we're kids doesn't mean that we're any less or that we should have no opinion in a matter that is constantly affecting us. When so many schools are in the news because people are coming and with guns and buying them legally, and they're targeting us in schools, where schools should be a safe place.
So I was raised thinking that the only way to stop a person with a gun is another person with a gun. However, these past few years with all these mass shootings, I've come to realize that that's not always true. And I believe that there needs to be major gun reform in this country.
Honestly, I think the solutions that have come about are quite ridiculous. Well, for one, arming teachers, I think having a gun in school just makes the atmosphere a lot more like dark and brooding, and I just think it makes things less safe because, I don't know, just like school is somewhere you come to have fun and learn with your friends, and knowing, like having the thought and knowing that there's a gun at school and it could be, you know, taken out at any time and used, just it scares me.
Right now, it's a question of life and death for many of students who go to school, and no student should ever have to go to school scared that they might be shot up. And I personally have experience with that because my school has had many threats, and now we started doing lockdown drills, and we never did lockdown drills when I was in elementary school. And now I know that my little sisters have to go through this. And I understand it's a safety precaution, but at what point do we stop being reactive and we start actually pushing for legislation so that we don't have to do these kind of measures? And I believe that the youth of this nation will push for these changes, and that eventually life in America will be better for everybody.